Hello everyone, greetings from Baltimore. My name is Stacy Stube. First, I would like to apologize for not being able to visit and speak in person. It is an honor to be asked to speak at the Indonesian Diaspora Network. This is new to me. This sense of talking about things that are really important. They're newly important. I guess it has to do with my age. And I only recently discovered what diaspora means as a word and what it means to me as a person, a woman, and as an Indonesian American. That journey began when I was in Indonesia. I set up a fashion company there, and then I started seeing Indonesian girls very similar to myself in appearances in many ways. But not the same as I am in terms of opportunity. I have been given many opportunities in my life, many of which I've had to work hard for and accomplish, but nonetheless, they're opportunities, and I'm able to progress as a person professionally as a result. I think the most important thing to know about the person is their backstory, why they do what they do. And my story starts with being a village girl, being born in Indonesia, in Sangat, maybe most of you don't even know where it is. It's above North Sulawesi in a very, very small island, Pulau Kecil. And apologies for my Indonesian. I'm still relearning the language, so I speak a little bit like bule or gado-gado, but I'm happy to try and to learn more about my culture. Now, when I was 3 years old, I moved to Baltimore City, where my grandfather set up a community center, and my parents carried on their mission work. There were missionaries in Indonesia, and they were doing mission work in the U.S. And I began to let go of that side of me that was Indonesian because I was, made fun of, and our parents were worried we wouldn't learn English. And as I grew up, I wanted to be more American, and I wanted to try to fit in, but I never really fit in. And then after some time, I was able to progress successfully in the fashion industry. I eventually moved on to London, went to fashion school there, worked there for about 7 years. And then at that point, that was when I returned to Indonesia in April 2013. And that was to set up the fashion company that I mentioned earlier. But my whole agenda around building a fashion company was to utilize my gifts and my skills to give back through fashion. I wasn't sure how to do it in the earlier days. I mean, literally, I was just traveling around the island, trying to pick up Indonesian again, learning the whole manufacturing climate, building clients, relationships, and then getting used to the Hindu culture, which is prevalent obviously in Bali, and how to do business within that context while still maintaining a global contact with the rest of the world, with Europe and the United States. But then I started to see or feel this sense of responsibility around the time during Independence Day, Indonesian Independence Day. I'd see the flags waving, and for the first time, I felt that the American flag is part of who I am and my responsibility to that country. But I also saw the Indonesian flag, which is the other half of what I am and who I am as a diaspora. And then I thought, well, what can I do? What can I do to help girls like me, village girls who are still in the village, to get out? Sorry, I'm playing with my hair. I was playing with my hair. But anyway, we started this project in a village. I started with my own resources. I spoke English. I started teaching English. We started looking at the craft skills, the Balinese lace in particular. And then this whole community evolved around the project. And the school classes that started with me just teaching 5 girls turned into 25 girls. And then the Balinese lace techniques, I started to realize an opportunity there to then provide economies that can go into the village. We've just launched a Kickstarter, a crowdfunding campaign on Start Some Good. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's a way of raising money to fund a social initiative. The social initiative is the Art Village Education Hub. And that is the project that we've set up in the village. The point of it all is to link the element of education that's then funded by the work of the mothers producing fashion products. It's a little bit hard to explain, but quite simply, you have one location that teaches the children English, the girls, the other location where the mothers are making the products. The sales from those products then funds the English lessons. So ultimately, when the project succeeds in terms of the infrastructure, the training, then that project's given back to the community as a project they then own. Now, how have I done this? What resources have I used? Not very much. I've used my own resources. I've had to sell a lot of designer things I've put consulting money into it, but now I'm reaching out to the Indonesian community to see what kind of support we can offer together. Not only, me providing my experience and building this project in Indonesia, but also the Indonesian community in the United States and around the world. This is so important because we need more women rising up, not to contradict their cultural beliefs, not to go against their families, but actually to stand more strongly behind their values and support their families. Because in some cases, there aren't any sons to take care of the family. So then that reliance is lost, which, as we all know, in the traditional model, the son takes over and takes care of the family. So I am so passionate about not just this project, but using this project as an example of how one village girl, myself, and a community of other village girls can then be empowered and give great changes, not just in Indonesia, but potentially this project could then translate to Baltimore City. And in the inner city is where the next project pilot will take place. We need your support. I know everyone is short on time. We don't have the energy, but we can't just play this game I see as, the game we play when we're little, hot potato. We're just passing the responsibility around. This responsibility to Indonesia is ours. It's ours as a diaspora because we've been given so many opportunities. Yes, we've had to fight for those, but we are much better off than those back in Indonesia. And there's a lot of people in Indonesia. And we need to work on educating the girls to become more of the Kartini generation, Kartini generation of empowered women that are responsible to the family, but also who can do good in their community through their education, through their will, and through this passion and excitement to be a part of something greater. And I'm not really sure where I begin, but I know I begin with this project. And my speeches, they're not perfect. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. But as an entrepreneur, I've learned that you'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And hopefully we'll have some other people that will join with us on this amazing fight to make this world a better place. I thank you for listening. I thank you for this time. I'm hopefully going to be on the line to answer any questions you have. We have a link that you can click on to get more information about the project. The amount we're raising is not that much in relative terms. It's $10,000 for a 6-month pilot that builds the workshop, that provides the lessons for the girls, pays for the English teacher and the social impact teacher. It also social impact manager also pays for the head artisan to start working together on producing products with me as the designer. 100% of the money goes into the project. I'm not taking any admin. I can't take admin on this. This is too important, and I want to see it happen. And if we don't raise this money, then I have to close the school down. I have to close this project down. So we can't pass on the responsibility. We have to own that responsibility and stand up for Indonesia, and hopefully that next project will then lead us on to the work that I want to do in Baltimore City. Thank you again. Terima kasih banyak.